Okay. So we start new book, and we're going to start with introduction of Rambam. No, it's called Preface. Okay. So let's see. So it's one more time is Shemoneh Perakim, and it's like in introduction before the Perakim Avot. Okay, so we're not going to, just so you know, we're not going to go to Perakim Avot. It's not purpose of this class, but the purpose of this class is cover this Shemoneh Perakim. So it's like half of the book, or even maybe 1/3 of the book. Not much. Okay, but it's a lot to say. Okay, so let's start. Preface. In the introduction to the commentary of the Mishnah, we explained that the reason the redactor of the Mishnah chose to include this tractate in order of nizikim. So nizikim is damages. So all of this, I'm sure all of you heard something, at least something about Perakim Avot. So it's like ethical teaching, and what tractate this ethical teaching would put in the middle of the nizikim damages. So damages meaning the laws between one person and another person. Okay. So commentaries say after he completed the previous tractates, the discussion of everything that the judge requires, he began Avot. So judge requires, so it's probably Sanhedrin. Okay. There are two reasons why he chose this order. So we're talking about Yehuda Hanassi, right? The redactor of the Mishnah. A, to make known the integrity of the oral tradition, so that the person should not say, why should we accept the judgment rendered by so and so. So because later on in the Mishnah, right, it's going to say Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon said this and this. So why should we, like, who is Rabbi Tarfon? Who is Rabbi Akiva? I don't know anything about them. So, and this Mishnahs in Perakim Avot, they going to show us a character, like people, how like people of integrity, the giants of integrity they were. So now when you see who we're dealing with, so now you would be listen more diligently. For the judgment was not authored by the particular judge, by a God, right? Judge, right? Justice. The judgment, one more time. For the judgment was not authored by a particular judge, by God. And it is the one law that has been passed down from person to person throughout the generations. So as we know, or who do not know, we're going to learn today. So Moshe Rabbeinu, when he went up to the Mount Sinai, so he received written Torah and oral Torah. So all of this, even though it was now it is discussed by rabbis, but it's only oral tradition, right? So meaning that we receive all of the judgments from God Himself. Moshe memorized them, right? And he taught other people, and it went on this like link generation from one generation to another, from teacher to the students. And then our rabbis like put it together now in writings. It's first A, and B, to communicate the ethical teaching of each of our sage, so we can ascertain eminent character traits as them. So it's very important. Like some people say, well, somebody is a nice person. So what is a nice person? What is a kind person? What does it mean? So, and everybody would have different opinions about being nice and being kind and being this and that, right? But basically, we do not care about their opinion. We care about God's opinion, right? And we have to see the sages that HaShem picked Himself, right? He made them prominent. Judges are in a great need of this than the people at large. So judges must be, of course, I mean, if I'm a simple person, not going to adjudicate the cases, so okay, that's my integrity is good, but his integrity of the judging candidate is much more important than my integrity, right? um, even if the general public do not learn the ethics, the harm is minimal, right? Exactly as we just said. Okay, so I mean, we're just dealing with each other. How many people we deal with on a daily basis? For they will injure themselves alone. When, however, a judge is neither ethical nor virtuous, he destroyed the entire nation. So no more, no less, and we know the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, when one person was offended, and judges did not do what was proper, and the Yerushalayim was destroyed, and the whole nation was destroyed because of one story, right? Continue. Also, so the question, the original question, why it was this like ethical teaching was inserted in this specific kind of like tractate of Nizikin damages. Also, several occasions in this text we have promised to discuss the constructive matters with regard to the tractate and not elaborate upon them. Okay. Although this tractate is short and its meaning appears straightforward and easy to comprehend, the application of these teachings are not easy at all. Okay, so even like a person, some people read the Perakim, let's say, superficially. I then say, yeah, that's very nice, that's very smart, and this and that. But if you listen, there is on our website on Beezrat HaShem.org, you have Rabbi Reuven Shlita Perakim series. I don't remember, like I think 176 or 78 lectures on these Perakim. On one Mishnah, sometimes he would spend 5, 6, 7, or 9 or 20 hours. So it's not simple. It's not simple at all. Even though it looks simple, but it's very complicated. Okay. Moreover, certain elements cannot be comprehended without adequate explanation. So, okay, of course, many things we're going to explain. Beezrat HaShem. In addition, its insight bring a person to the high level of fulfillment and true happiness. Therefore, I have chosen to elaborate them. So here's a Rabbi is talking, right? So just to perform mitzvahs as a robot is not going to make a person happy, right? Even though our sages say that HaShem had created the world, He made it so in His intention was so people would live here in this world happy life. Okay, so why some people are unhappy? Because of their own issues, not because HaShem did not make the world a good place. Continue. Our sages, may they rest in peace, state, a person who desires to be pious should apply the teaching of Avot, right? I mean, in Perakim. So if you want to be pious, that's what you do. So don't learn from any other book. So that's the at least that's the basic and the first book to read and delve inside, right? If you when you want to be pious, and we all of us should want to be pious. There is no attribute greater than the piety except prophecy. So it's piety and then prophecy. Right, very interesting. And indeed, piety leads to prophecy. So a prophet cannot be just a murderer, like they say this about these false prophets, Muhammad and others, right? So they or JC, right? So JC Yoshke, so they say he's prophet. He cannot be prophet. Well, one of the reasons why he was not pious. Right? He was a womanizer. As our sages say, piety leads to spirit of divine inspiration. From their statement, so piety leads to spirit of divine inspiration. So, meaning piety leads a person to be humble, and that's what HaShem wants. He wants to rest His Torah on humble people, right? As it says in Perakim, that the Torah flows to the lower level, right, to the lower ground, and that's in the Torah compared to the water, and that if you want to attain the Torah, so you have to lower yourself, be humble. From their statement it follows that conducting oneself according to the ethical teaching of this tractate will lead to prophecy. So no more, no less. So Rambam said, if you apply, so he gives you the recipe, he gives you the formula. So he said, if you're going to do everything correctly, so it's going to lead you to prophecy, right? If you apply it correctly to yourself. Accordingly, I will explain the truth of these matters. For this tractate embodies a large portion of desirable character traits. Okay, so continue. So okay, so like sometimes people do not like not sometimes people do not know what they should acquire, what character traits, what to develop, what to work on, what to try to suppress, and that's why you really need Perakim and many things we learned in our previous class in Hilchot Diot actually, with in the deep inside like. Continue. Before I begin to explain each law in Mishnah individually, I thought it is beneficial to include the practice preface level, several chapters, to help a person to grasp axiomatic principles that will be served as a key to the comprehension of the concept to be explained. So, so Rambam, of course, in his great humility, so he said, I'm just going to give you like a little introduction, so you would understand the Perakim better. So our goal of this class is only to read this introduction, just so you know. Okay, because it's so powerful, it's so powerful. Continue. Take note the concepts stated in these chapters and the forthcoming explanation are not new concept that I have invented. So Rambam said, I just gathered this from all over the Torah, nothing new from me. They are rather the anthology of the words of the sages from the Midrashim, the Talmud, and other sources. The works of philosophers of the early and later generations, and many other texts, accept the truth regardless which person said it. So let's read the commentary. So he said, accept the truth regardless of which person said it. And Rabbi Reuven Shlita many times said, so that does not matter who said the truth. If it's a true statement, like we know, we're going to read in sometimes the story of the donkey, of the Bilam, who was speaking. So if donkey is speaking the prophecy, if donkey is speaking the truth, does not make difference if donkey or not donkey. You understand? But with Rambam, it's a little different. So let's see who, like he said, does not matter who said the truth. Commentary. With this statement, the Rambam appears to refer to the fact that some of the sources to be used composed by Gentiles, and some rabbis attack Rambam because of that. Right, that he relies in some instances on non-Jewish sources. So especially we see it in Hilchot Diot when we learn, and it was about some scientific knowledge, like about the health, like I don't know what chapter 4 I think about the health. So many things were there from non-Jews, but he said does not make any difference. Continue. Note this statement in the Mishnah Torah, Hilchot Kiddush HaKodesh 1724, where it says, since the concept can be proven in unshakable manner, leaving no room for question, the identity of the author, be he a prophet or a Gentile, is of no concern. When the rationale, when the rationale of the matter has proven truthful and is unshakable in an unshakable manner, we do not rely on a personal authority of a person who made the statements, but only on the proofs that he presented. So, for example, I give you this example. So, our great poskim, I'll ask the question about medicine, right? Some medicine, are you allowed to do such a procedure? Not allowed. So all of these things. So they would consult. They consult with a top like expert in the field, be it a Jew or not Jew. It does not make any difference. So if this person, if this doctor or this technician, this professor, whoever like top in this field, right, or whoever, so we rely on his information. And this rabbi, as of course he did not learn from the books. Sometimes maybe they do. So he asks all of the proper questions, and he derives his decision based on this. So it does not matter. He's Jew, not Jew. It does not make any difference. If it can be proven, right? If you have like statistics that we can check, so there is no problem. That's what Rambam's approach is. There are times when I will quote the entire concept from a well-known text. I mean no harm in doing so. Okay, I'm not trying to claim as my own insight authored by my predecessors. On the contrary, I admit that even when I do not mention my sources, the statement is not original. So in introduction to the Mishnah Torah, Rambam said that he did not mention all of the sources because like it would distract people. So, but to make it like continuous flow, flow better, the text, so he did not include the source. Then he said that he regretted because people attack him, like how do you know this, how do you know that, and many people spend their lifetime or a significant portion of their lifetime in trying to get to assign the sources to everything that Rambam said. And but of course we rely on Rambam, and we know that he was very God-fearing person. He did not say anything from his own mind, and and when it was from his own mind, like some things that he did derive by logic, he would say it clearly, as we saw in the previous Halachos, Mishnah Torah. He said, in my opinion, it seems to me. So it says seems to me, meaning based on all of the Torah that he learned. That seems to him a logical conclusion, right? But otherwise, he said, look, I'm not going to list you all of the sources, but it's not mine. So I'm not trying to claim anything, which is very interesting. Continue. I have chosen not to mention my sources for two reasons. Oh, here. Because this prolongs the text without any advantage. So, I mean, if it says in this place, in this, I mean... well, what he said is makes sense in one sense, but in another sense, sometimes people want to go and actually research it and see on their own and learn deeper insight. Okay, so actually the translator he mentioned some sources. Okay, so he said there is no advantage, and B, by mentioning the name of the author of whom a particular reader might not approve, I might cause him to reject the concept, thinking there is a harmful and there is contained that an undesirable intent. For this reason, I have chosen to omit the names of the authors. So people are very judgmental, right? So you have to be on a very high level not to be judgmental. So, for example, this author, this rabbi says such and such thing. Maybe this guy this lady did not like it, and they reject all of the words, all of the other works of this rabbi. So even though maybe they misunderstood this part. But all other things, I mean, even this part is absolutely true just because of our lacking. So, right? So Rambam said, I'm not going to tell you who said it because everything is true and I verify it. I mean in Rambam, right? And just take it easy, concentrate on the essence. Don't delve into the sources who said. For my intent is to benefit the reader and to explain the concepts concealed with this tractate. I will now begin the chapter that I regard as necessary introduction to achieve the above purpose. There are 8 such chapters. So there's tiny chapters, but it's there's no commentary, like almost no commentary, because it's Rambam is always, he's very straightforward, always to the point. That's what makes him Rambam. Any questions on what we said before, so far? Okay, no problem. So continue.